and you are my sister, and not a one of us can live apart. We are one in the spirit. We are one in this world. We are one in the spirit. Everybody, every soul, everywhere we turn. Involve yourself in, it's time to begin for the healing of this earth. Many small steps here, millions of feet now, can carry everybody to rebirth. Oh, we are one in the spirit. We are one in this world. We are one in the spirit. Everybody, every soul, everywhere we turn. Away, 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 high. Away, 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 high. Away, 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 high. Away, 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 high. So as you take yourself, give back to someone else. All the nations here belong. Tear down illusion, shore up with truth, till you and I, we sing a worldwide song. We are one in the spirit. We are one in this world. We are one in the spirit. Every woman, every man, every boy and girl. We are one in the spirit. We are one in this world. We are one in the spirit. Everybody, every soul, everywhere we turn. Away, 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 high. 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 Away, 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 high.
What would I do if I knew that I could not fail? If I believed, would the wind always fill up my sails? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread, and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today to do what we secretly dream. What would you ask if you knew you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sleeps in the heart of a seed, are there miracles in you and me? You know there are. If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where true believers dare to tread and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? If I refused to listen to the voice of fear, would the voice of courage whisper in my ear? Maybe this is what I'd hear. I am brave enough to move ahead, where true believers dare to tread, never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step will I take today? I am brave. What will I do 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 today? I am
Yeah, yeah. Take a hand, take a knee, till everybody is free. No inequality, we owe apologies. Take a stand, make a choice, let every human rejoice. A word, shout, scream, or noise, let freedom ring in their voice. From deep within it comes in every one of us. One and all in one, a new day starting. We are one in the spirit of love. Let it ride, let it ring, if freedom calling. We are one in the spirit of love. Another anthem we sing, we stand together on the brink. Love and peace take wing, let equality ring. Take a moment and breathe. Nothing is what it seems. No one's living beneath another human being. From deep within it comes in every one of us. One and all in one. A new day's dawning. We are one in the spirit of love. Let it ride, let it ring. Hear freedom calling. We are one in the spirit of love. If fear is running your mind, leave your weapons behind. Anger's leaving us blind. Come together in kind with one another, yeah. One and all in one. A new day's dawning. We are one in the spirit of love. Let it ride, let it ring. Hear freedom calling. We are one in the spirit of love. One and all in one. A new day's dawning. We are one in the spirit of love. Let it ride, let it ring. Hear freedom calling. We are one in the spirit of love. Let it ride, let it ring. We are one in the spirit. Let it ride, let it ring.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. You've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really did not let go. I let the spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife.
Good morning, and welcome to our Sunday LoveStream service. Welcome back, everybody. I see lots of us online here this morning. And first and foremost, I want to thank Mary Franklin for attempting to be our practitioner this morning. She and I worked out all of her Skype stuff yesterday, but for whatever reason, Skype was not cooperating with her this morning. So Lori jumped in, and Lori's going to be our practitioner this morning. Lori's Skype on her iPad was cooperating. So good morning. Let's open up with some treatment. I'm going to put on some Donna Michael music this morning. So a little bit of piano. There it is. Beautiful piano. And I invite us all. And Mary's just logging in. Mary, I hope that you heard that I already thanked you for attempting to be our practitioner this morning. We know that Skype was not cooperating with you. So I invite us all to take a breath. And in this moment, let us just consciously center ourselves in knowing that God is all there is, that there is only one life, that life is the divine, living itself and expressing itself through and as each of us. That life is perfect as it expresses itself and individualizes itself through and as each of us. And that life is my life now and the life of each of us on this service this morning. Of course, our family, our friends, our communities. We know that right where we are, all is well. And so I bless our day. I bless our time together as the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, and of course, each of us who individualizes that spiritual community, that blessed spiritual community. I know that each of us is in our exact right place today on this beautiful 26th day of July 2020. And knowing that all is well, and in great gratitude, I release this blessing into the action of that lovingly impersonal and mechanically accurate aspect of God itself, the law of cause and effect. And as I release it and know that life is good and that we are good in it, I let it be and I let it go to do its work in universal mind. And together we affirm this blessing by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Yes. So, well, good morning. And as I said, welcome back. Steve Colucci said, good morning. I can barely hear Doug. Is it my computer? Well, let me go ahead and check my... Okay, well, looks like my volume is good, Steve. So, yep. The mic's right here. I checked the mixer. Charles and Julie are here. Joan is going to be joining them shortly today. Joan lost her dog this week. Very sad. Her dog stepped out in traffic and was hit by a car. We're so sorry, Joan, and we send you our love. So Charles says, sound is good on our TV and computer. Try adjusting the sound within YouTube as well as your computer sound. Yes. Good morning, Deborah. Deborah's on with us. So we got a bunch of us on this morning. Let's take a moment. You know, I don't know if you guys, how many of you were on right at the hour, but I showed a brand new video from Gary and Jamie, Take a Hand, Take a Knee, that a lot of centers are showing this week. And of course, I'll share a little bit more in a few minutes about our book study class. So yeah, let us take a couple of minutes in our Ho'oponopono forgiveness and reconciliation practice. The Hawaiian Ho'oponopono prayer is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I know several people have communicated to me that saying I'm sorry makes them uncomfortable because they don't feel like there's anything to be sorry for. But of course, all of us in this country have been living for hundreds of years in a system that was created by exploiting black people and exploiting racism through slavery and through this modern time. And I've been taking this wonderful book study class, Me and White Supremacy, and I'm learning more and more about how we've all benefited from the system. So whether you feel like you personally have overtly or covertly acted in that way, as someone in using racism overtly or covertly, you don't have to consider yourself to be part of the problem to definitely consider yourself to be part of the solution. So the Ho'oponopono prayer, of course, as we said, is I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Let's take 2 minutes to meditate along with Karen Drucker's beautiful song as we just consider how we can each of us be part of the solution rather than part of the historical problem.
I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, mahalo, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, mahalo, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, so sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I love you.
Let's go directly to our promises, Dr. Holmes's promises. Here we go. I keep the promise that I have made myself to affirm in this moment that I am abundant, healthy, strong, and happy. I keep the intention to daily speak this truth to my inner soul, telling it that it is wonderful and marvelous, that it is one with the great cause of life, truth, power, and action. I whisper these things into my soul until it breaks forth into songs of joy with the realization of its limitless possibilities. I assure my soul. I assure my soul. I'm going to grab my guitar here. Sherry said, Dawn, first of all, Deborah said, Dawn is here. Hi, Dawn. And then Sherry says, this prayer has become part of my daily practice, and I always find myself singing this version. I know, it's beautiful, isn't it? Let's sing I Remember. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. We are life. We are life. We are light. We are love. We are joy. We are peace. We are wisdom and beautiful harmony. We are pure spirit. I remember who I am. I remember who you are and who we are. His pure spirit. Yes, who we are. His pure spirit. One more time. Yes, who we are. His pure spirit. Yes, who we are is pure spirit. And that's the only thing that we ever have to really learn or remember, is that who we are. Joanne says, happy Sunday, everyone. Roger and Joanne are online. Good morning, Joanne and Roger. And, yes. So let's go ahead and go right to our Declaration of Principle, what we believe, written by Dr. Holmes back in the 1920s and published for the first time as What We Believe, a Declaration of Principles, in the fall, October issue of Science of Mind magazine back in 1927. We're coming up on 100 years on that. So here we go. I believe in one power, one living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. I believe that spirit expresses through me and is the unity of all life. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. I believe that all thought is creative, and that how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. And I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. I see that Dawn has logged in on her own this morning, not just being announced by Deborah, her roommate. So good morning, Dawn, our treasurer, and welcome back. I have a new video for you this morning from Elizabeth Partaker. Elizabeth helping us celebrate our theme for this month, which has been freedom, spiritual freedom. And so a brand new Choir Corner video from Elizabeth, and it's called Freedom, and here it comes.
Every dawn becomes a new day, a time to love, a time to cry. Every river knows its own way, and it's the same for you and I. Every heart must have a reason, a winding road, a midnight flight. Freedom, freedom, what we all need is freedom in our hearts. Freedom, freedom, what we all need is freedom in our hearts. fight and die depending on her. The pride and prejudice we hide, a mother's tears, a father's anger. We're trying to stop the pain and lies, so we pretend to look for answers. I blame you and you blame me. All we really need is freedom, freedom. What we all need is freedom in our hearts, freedom, freedom. What we all need is freedom in our hearts. We don't need the pain anymore to move our mountains, to reach our shores. What I found is the choice I breathe. I can do to let freedom rise. Freedom, freedom. What we all need is freedom in our hearts. Yes, freedom from the darkness, freedom from the violence, freedom from the hate, freedom from the fear, oh Lord, freedom from the hunger, freedom from the forgiveness. Freedom, freedom. What we all need is freedom in our hearts. Freedom, yeah, freedom. What we all need is freedom in our hearts. Freedom from the pain and trouble. Freedom from my doubt and my struggle. Nothing standing in my way. Finally found my own true place. I can leave my troubled mind. Somehow leave the past behind. Everyone can finally see. All I really need is freedom, freedom. What we all need is freedom in our hearts.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for the effort that you put into that. Elizabeth actually sent me about 3 different versions of that because we were having some trouble with the playback on it. It was a very huge frame and a little bit of background noise, but beautifully done. And thank you so much for putting all of that effort into it. I know Elizabeth told me she just upgraded some components in her studio, so look for her next one to be even better. Barbara says, lovely message, Elizabeth. Thank you. Yes, lovely message. So I want to remind you all that we are very fortunate to be part of a larger organization, which has been an open and affirming organization since its founding in 1927. We, of course, here at the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living say that the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living is a radically inclusive and mindfully non-racist spiritual community where all are lovingly welcomed here. Thank you, Steve, again, for sending me this really nice image, which I have elaborated on and made. We're going to make signs. You know, it says, "We accept you." We accept MasterCard, Discover, Visa, probably American Express too, but mostly we accept you. And with what Dr. Martin Luther King said down the bottom, I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Ain't that the truth? So I've been taking this book study of this very essential work for all of us who identify as white, Caucasian, non-BIPOC, B-I-P-O-C, which would be black or indigenous person of color. This is a really, really important class book for all of us to understand what we have been missing, to understand what we have been unconscious about. And I don't care how woke any of us are, we have been, as a peoplehood, very unconscious about the way that we've operated in this society in terms of the difference between white privilege, white fragility, white colorblindness, and what it is to live the life of a BIPOC, black, or indigenous person of color in this country. So the member book study, I know the practitioners are starting on, excuse me, August the 3rd, and the member, excuse me, the member book study starts on August the 4th. This is really essential work. So I will send out I've sent it out before, but I will send out the link again. If somebody needs it in an email format because you're not getting the links for whatever reason, please don't hesitate to let me know. And welcoming our practitioner in this morning. Our practitioner is Lori. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning.
How are you?
How you doing? Great, Reverend Doug. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for
Good.
jumping in for Mary with her Skype challenges. I appreciate that. And you have the affirmation, the flames of faith, and the treatment for us. So take it away, Lori.
All righty. So our affirmation today is, and I will say it once and then you can join in with me 2 more times. Today, I know and understand that all things live together for the greater good of life itself. Say that with me. Today, I know and understand that all things live together for the greater good of life itself. One more time. Today, I know and understand that all things live together for the greater good of life itself. And so it is. And so now we perform the flames of faith on Sunday to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The unity candle represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the 4 noble truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle, honoring all forms of New Thought, the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the 10th candle for inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome here. We light the healing candle. Please put silently into the light names of loved ones, knowing that they have the experience of Spirit's eternal love. And so I invite you at this time to close your eyes if it is safe to do so, and simply join with me in being this one, in opening our hearts and minds to this greater awareness of this oneness that we have with Spirit within us. This is alive, living, and joyous harmony, peace, love, all attributes our wonderful Spirit moving in and through you, through me, and through everyone in this life. And this life is special. This life is wondrous. This life is joy in all its forms. And we are open to it. We are free. We are free to live the life that's amazing and awesome. It is ready for us now. And we need only open our hearts and minds to the greater possibility of the truth that is within us and sets us free. So at this time, I just give thanks, great thanks, knowing that Spirit is moving through each and every one of us right now with love and joy and peace. And as I know this to be so, I simply release and let go and let God be the wonder in my life. How awesome it is to know this truth, and it sets me free. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Lori. It's funny because when you were doing the Flames of Faith, I just closed my eyes and was listening to you, and then I went, "Oh shoot, I'm supposed to be changing the slides here." I had to catch up on around Christianity there. So, well, thank you. I'm gonna jump into our next thing now. You have a beautiful Sunday, and I appreciate all of your
Namaste.
efforts. Namaste. Yeah. So, Emily Caruth sent us a beautiful rendition of True Colors. So for your Sunday inspirational infotainment, here is Emily Caruth and True Colors.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. See your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me a smile then. Don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you take it all you can get, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I'll see your true colors shining through. And I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up because you know I'll be there. And I'll see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors, true colors are shining through. And I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow.
Thank you, Emily. I love that song. I love that song. Whenever I hear that song, True Colors, I imagine that it's God singing it to me. I imagine that it's God. Whoever's singing it is God singing it to me. You know, I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show. Your true colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Thank you, Emily. That was really beautiful. This is our final Sunday of July, and our July global vision has been Spirituality Unchained. Yep. And this week, the last week of July, what we're talking about is the Tao of Freedom. I don't know why they don't spell that word D-A-W, because nobody pronounces it the Tao. It's the Tao of Freedom. And our theme this week is that freedom is more than something that we receive. Because God can't be bound or enslaved or imprisoned, which means that the truth of us is also freedom as a divine right, a divine way of living. There's some comments coming in now on Emily's song. Janet says, yes, love this song. Sweet song, thank you. Eleanor said, beautiful song and beautiful colors. Laurie said, beautiful, Emily, wow. Deborah Kern, so moving, thank you, Emily. Mark Shoup, awesome, Emily. And Mary Franklin said, Emily, wonderful, you and the song both. I so miss our being in person with each other so that we can do our choir stuff together and do our best to inspire people together. I miss that. But right now, we're doing everything that we can to be safe with and for each other. As Lori said in our affirmation this morning, today I know and understand that all things live together for the greater good of life itself. That's what we're doing in this paradigm, this pandemic paradigm. As we stay home, as we wear our masks, we're protecting each other, which is what we need to do. So we're talking this week, as I said, about the Tao of freedom. And Taoism is interesting because it's almost like more than any other religious tradition, it's the most like religious science because it's part philosophy and part religion. And it's not dogmatic, just like religious science isn't dogmatic, And it's a way of being that focuses on going with the flow and doing what's right. And I know that especially since like the 60s and surfing, we've all heard the term go with the flow or going with the flow. But in reality, going with the flow is from Taoism. That's literally where it comes from, because what Taoism teaches is that there is a cosmic flow to go along with, a cosmic force. Dr. Holmes says that there's a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible, and that's love. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible, and that flows through all things and flows through all beings. And this cosmic flow, if we translate this cosmic flow into the science of mind speak, what we're talking about is divine right action. In our science of mind teaching, we would describe the cosmic flow as divine right action. And when we ourselves choose to live in harmony with divine right action, that's when we have an experience of this divine right action that we recognize as freedom, going with the flow. Because we can make fun of the surf culture, dude, go with the flow, man, and everything. But the truth of the matter is when you can really go with the flow, when you can live in divine right action, in the experience of recognizing that everything is happening in divine right action, and our job is kind of to go along with that, then we experience freedom. Of course, the opposite of this is also true. When we consciously or unconsciously choose to live in conflict with divine right action, then we often manifest for ourselves experiences that can be painful or stressful or at the very least uncomfortable, difficult. We put ourselves in those situations where we're fighting with what is. We create those situations. But, when we live in divine right action and allow when we're conscious of the idea of divine right action, then we have an opportunity to live a more peaceful and less stressful existence. Let go and let God. So, what exactly does divine right action mean? And more than that, what is divine right action for me? What is divine right action for you? What is divine right action for any or all of us? And isn't that really the question of questions? Isn't that the bottom line question when you're asking about, is divine right action the same for everyone? Is it different? I mean, certainly the question that's at the root of our focus on freedom this month. Freedom, divine right action. Am I free to do what I want to do? And if I'm free to do what I want to do, am I free to do whatever I want to do? I mean, does freedom mean you can do whatever you want, whatever you please? Are there no limitations? Right? To answer that question, I think each of us need to dig into our own belief system and see what our core beliefs are about divine right action, and to see if what we think we believe is really what we do believe. If you think of it of divine right action or of spiritual freedom as a freedom without any kind of limitations, then it might seem like I'm free to live in a way that destroys the earth. I'm free to live in a way that creates pollution. I'm free to live in a way that limits other people's opportunities. I'm free to live in a way that hurts people. It may seem like I'm free to live and prosper at the expense of other people. It may seem that way. But the reality is, the truth is, none of us are free to live without consequences, because the natural outcome of living in a metaphysical universe where the metaphysical nature of this life we are living in and participating in is a co-creative, and cooperative paradigm with spirit. Even just this action that I'm making with my hands that I see on the screen, that makes me realize that I'm unconsciously doing a give and take, right? Because all of our choices and actions have consequences in the metaphysical scheme of things. Charles Smith says, divine right action must respect other people's lives, liberty, and property, and the inalienable natural rights described by the philosophers in the Age of Enlightenment. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But I think, Charles, you'll agree that many people in our modern society believe that they can act without any responsibility or consequences from their actions. All of our choices and actions have consequences in the metaphysical scheme of things. And in the science of mind, we say, we're punished by our sins, not for our sins, because, of course, our philosophy, our spiritual philosophy, is not a moralistic spiritual philosophy. Do no harm is about as moralistic as we get in terms of our philosophy, because we realize that in the larger picture, our actions have consequences. When we say we are punished by our sins, meaning what we think and what we believe has a co-creative and cooperational relationship to the universe, and what goes around comes around. So here's an interesting part of this. Our freedom has to be used with wisdom, spiritual wisdom, and in alignment with that divine right action. Our founder, Dr. Holmes, teaches us that there is a divine will. If God has any will for us at all, it's the good of all, for us to experience life, the fullness of life, the fullness of our health, the fullness of happiness. And God's will is for life. It's for itself, which is life, And it's for our individualized life, which is part of the larger life, and our ability to experience freedom. And for us to experience that freedom, Dr. Holmes writes, the road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws. The road to freedom lies not through mysteries or through occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws. So for each of us to live in the flow of divine freedom, we have to let our choices and our thoughts be like divine will for the good of everyone. So that's the wisdom. You know, we can't just do whatever we want to do. If it's not in alignment with for the good of everyone, there will be consequences to our actions. In her book, Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert wrote, we need to learn how to select our thoughts in just the same way that we select our clothing every day. It's a power that we can cultivate. If we want to control things in our lives, work on our mind. That's the only thing we should be trying to control. And I agree 100%. We're working on our mind. We're working on our belief in our own divinity, in our own relationship with God. Going with the flow has everything to do with the bottom line thing that we're learning in the science of mind. God is all there is, and we live in a cause and effect universe. When we say God is all there is, that includes us. So if God is all there is, and that includes us, we're talking about the divinity of all of us. Charles says, if we respect life, liberty, and property, as in the Declaration of Independence, there can be no adverse consequences to others. Yes, because that is wisdom. If we're truly respecting the life, liberty, and property of all, then we are acting in the way that our divine creator thinks, which is the good, the highest good of all, taking nothing away from anyone. Thank you, Charles. You know, as we said in our week 4 topic, our freedom is more than something to receive. You know, if God cannot be bound, cannot be enslaved, cannot be imprisoned, that means that we cannot be bound, enslaved, or imprisoned unless we allow it, unless we choose that. And I'm not talking about being incarcerated in prison for committing a crime, which is also a direct consequence of hurting yourself or other people or our society at large. And I know that many of us do experience enslavement, imprisonment, being held captive or hostage by what we think and what we believe. We're so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. That is the bottom line. We bind ourselves with our ideas, our concepts, and most powerfully, our belief system, our entire belief system, because the way we react to things is filtered through our belief system. So what we're always trying to do, you know, Dr. Holmes teaches us, and we say all the time, change your thinking, change your life. What we're really saying is change your belief system, your entire belief system. And what is it, our belief system? It's very simple. Our belief system should be God is all there is. And yes, I did use the should word. Our belief system should be God is all there is. And if God is all there is, we're not separate from God. We are one with that divine creative intelligence, or as Deepak likes to say, you know, that evolutionary impulse of the universe. Unlimited and infinite love, compassion, creativity, kindness. Those are the aspects of God that we also have the freedom to express. You know, the Tao of freedom is gifting ourselves the ability to live freely, gifting it to ourselves through our belief system, through what we think, through what we'll allow ourselves to believe, while at the same time bringing this truth to others who may currently be self-incarcerated or have trauma because of their belief system, because of what they have thought or believed, being a prisoner of their own beliefs. Our master teacher, Jesus, was quoted in John 14:10 as saying, "It is not I but the spirit within that does the work. And when we add the principles of Taoism to that, our ultimate goal is to live at peace, go with the flow, with the way of the Tao, and recognize that everything that happens in life should be accepted as part of that eternal force, that divine right action, that flow that binds and moves through all things, meaning that everything is happening for our highest good all the time. Going with the flow makes it so much easier to accept that. And in the science of mind, in New Thought, we refer to that flow or spirit as the thing itself. The thing itself. We depersonalize it. We dehumanize it by making it a spiritual principle. I was talking to one of the guys that I sponsor in my 12-step program this morning, and he was, like me, brought up Jewish and had some issues with the idea of God because of the way he was brought up. And when I said to him what Deepak Chopra says, that we in religious science recognize that God is the evolutionary impulse of life itself, infinite creativity, infinite love, infinite compassion, he said, oh, I really, really like that. Send that to me. That's the truth. That invisible essence from which everything comes, the source of all, the unlimited power and creative intelligence that's present everywhere and in us, is that evolutionary impulse of the universe that Deepak Chopra says. This receptive source, listening to us all the time, creates our individual experiences according to what we direct it to create for us. Dr. Holmes teaches us that, in directed thought is far more powerful than undirected thought, right? Janet says, thank you for getting into the depths, Reverend Doug. You are welcome. This receptive source, this universal creativity, great spirit, the Father, the Mother, Father, Mother, God, or just the thing itself, is receptive to our individual experiences according to the direction of our thoughts, our beliefs, our intention. And if those thoughts and intentions and beliefs do not support our highest good, if we think very limiting and imprisoning thoughts of ourself and our relationship to this universal experience, we can absolutely imprison ourselves. So I'm going to play a clip here from Michael Singer and Oprah from The Untethered Soul. Take a listen.
You say, if you really want to grow, real spiritual growth happens when there's only one of you inside. There's not a part that's scared and another part that's protecting the part that's scared. All parts are unified because there's no part of you that you're not willing to see.
Yes.
Oh, that's what being a whole person is, isn't it?
Yes, that's integrity. That's true integrity. You're integrated as a being.
Wow. Isn't that why we're all here, to figure out how to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's easy. We make it hard, but it's actually very, very easy.
I love this too, for everybody who's on the spiritual path, opening up your heart. Once you've made the commitment to free yourself of that scared person inside, you'll notice that there's a clear decision point at which your growth takes place. You just notice something starts to change. Yes. Spiritual growth is about the point at which you start to feel your energy change.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, an event is happening outside, you're talking to somebody, enjoying the conversation, and all of a sudden they say something that hits something inside of you, a soft spot, and your whole mind, your heart starts to close, your mind starts to figure out, why did they say that? Did I say something wrong? And you go south. You go somewhere, right? And you notice yourself starting to get involved in that reaction. And so at that moment, you have to decide, do I want to solve this? Does this need to be solved? And do I need to think about it? Or am I willing to just relax and let it pass?
You're talking about that chapter, Let Go or Fall?
Yeah, that's right in there.
Yes. Because when something comes in to disturb you, if you don't let it pass right through you, you're saying that it will, the energy of it will drag you down into it, and then you think you become that thing. Right. So what are we supposed to do when problems show up?
The moment it starts with that chitter chatter,
your mind.
My mind, my first reaction inside is to relax and lean away from that.
To go to the seat of self.
Just you can use words. I just relax and lean away from it.
Okay.
Right? Yes, it's
Got it.
true. You end up leaning into the seat of self.
Okay.
But I lean away from the noise the mind is making.
And by seat of self, I mean that awareness that is my
yes,
mind speaking. Yes.
So you're going to do one or two things. Once it starts, you're either going to lean into it and get involved. It'll
Yes,
pull you in.
which is what
or
most of us do.
You have the right. You have the right to relax and lean away. And what you're going to do is start to get some space. And you will learn over time that that's the smartest thing you ever did. Why? Because you gave it room to pass through, and it will pass right through.
Now, did this come to you over time? You learned this over time. I know I've read your story. You went to gurus, you sat alone, you meditated, you became almost a recluse.
Yes.
And, you know, for most of us, that's not the path we want to take.
Good.
Good. You say good. We just want to be able to, and I say we, speaking for myself, I want to be able to be connected to that seat of the self.
Yes.
That is ultimately where God flows through.
Yes.
The power of God flows
Yes.
through. How do we begin to make that happen for ourselves?
So because I did all of that and tried all of that,
Yes.
I am so proud to come back and tell you, no, you don't need to do that.
You
In
don't
fact,
need to do
don't do it. All you have to do is get to the point on your everyday life. Every moment of life is a spiritual experience. I know you know that.
Yes, I do.
right?
That's why we're here on Super Soul Sunday.
And the reason it becomes a spiritual experience is because you've realized you are causing the vast majority of your own problems due to your mental reactions. So as life unfolds on a daily basis, you have the right to choose not to do that. You can still go to work. You still take care of the kids. You just lean away from this mess that the mind is doing to amplify and overemphasize or over-exaggerate whatever's going on.
And then what do? Lean into what that awareness is saying?
What will happen is when you let go of the noisy mind, you will end up in a seat of quiet, which I know you'll have to talk about. You'll end up in a seat of quiet because that's what it is back there. It's quiet.
Stillness.
The stillness, right?
Okay.
And my experience is that now you can look at reality and you will know what to do. Just the fact that you don't have all this static, right?
Yes.
Means the quiet one who's clear will look at reality and it will be pretty obvious what it is for you to deal with. Isn't it?
Yes. Ultimately, I think what we're all seeking, even when we don't know it. When I would ask people on the show for years, what do you want? Everybody would say they want happiness. But aren't we all ultimately seeking freedom?
Yes. We're seeking a state of absolute well-being, and that's what freedom means.
Yeah. So that was Michael Singer, the author of The Untethered Soul. And as he said, that proverbial monkey mind that he's talking about, that endless stream of chatter that leaves us feeling overwhelmed, confused, paralyzed, that our reactions to things that come our way, that's what keeps us from experiencing freedom. That's what keeps us from experiencing freedom. And he reminds us that what we're really seeking is, I love the term, absolute well-being. You know, that is what freedom means, because you can call that happiness, you can call that health, you can call that integration, you can call that living with the flow, but it's well-being. And the Tao of freedom, that go with the flow, that identifying with the divine right action, helps us to stop identifying with the voice. Identifying with the flow, you can call it God's will, you can, you know, that monkey mind, when we listen to that monkey mind, then we're preventing an experience of freedom. But when we can go with the flow, you know, when we stop identifying with that voice chattering in our head, then we can allow ourselves to experience freedom. You know, I'm going to use this slide here. Being receptive to the power within is the road to this freedom. I use this picture again because I know that Clay really, really liked it last week. So I'm using it again. Being receptive to the power within is the road to our freedom. And back in Taoism for a second, one of the fundamental tenets of Taoism is what they call Wu Wei. Wu Wei, which means action without attachment. That is definitely the going with the flow, the understanding that things happen as divine right action. When we can release our attachment to how things turn out and simply allow things to be as they are and say, all right, and this is why we do our spiritual mind treatment all the time anyway. Remember, our spiritual mind treatment is the time, the process, and the method that we need to change our thinking, to get rid of negation, of doubt, and fear, and to remind ourselves of the ever-presence of spirit. Because when we're not going with the flow, we're stuck in negation and doubt and fear. How will this, we're futuring, right? But when we can go, everything is turning out for my highest good. I may not see it right now, but I don't have to see it right now. It's like, I love that quote from John Lennon, everything turns out in the end. If it hasn't turned out yet, it's not the end. Wow, the power of that. Everything turns out in the end. And if it's not turning out in this moment, it's because it's not the end. And that's what Michael Singer was saying too. It will flow through you. It's like that saying, it came to pass. It came to pass, right? When we can go with the flow, then we tap into an awareness of that divine right action, that divine power, and it is operating through us without limitation. And that power works in us and as us and through us. And going with the flow also means knowing that we don't need to control the power. We only have to be aware of it and receptive to it working through us. It expresses itself in us and as us and through us. The only action that we need to take is to accept our own divinity. God is all there is. We are not separate from it, right? And so is everybody else that we meet, divine as well. Let me say that again. The only action that we need to take is to accept the divinity within us, and to accept the divinity within everyone we meet. That is what all of our spiritual work is about. The principle that we live in is God is all there is, and we live in a cause and effect universe. But that first part of it, God is all there is, it's so encompassing. If we need more definition and more exploration of what that means, remember that means that if God is all there is, then everything that you experience is God. I'm so glad that coffee is God too, because I love coffee. But so am I, and so are you, right? What could be more liberating than us all knowing that God is all there is, and that includes us, and that we always have the power to recognize that we can change our thinking, change our paradigm at any time, because God in us as us is us. And that means that God in you as you is you, right? Okay, so we've come to the end of my talk for today, and my backronym for this week, if we're going to talk about going with the flow, is FLOW, the freedom to live in the opulence of my word. Your word, God's will, your word is your freedom to change your paradigm at any time. Your word is your understanding of your own individualized power to change the things in your life. So our flow is the freedom to live in the opulence of our word. And our affirmation for this week, as we said before, is today I know and understand that all things live together for the greater good of life itself. That too is part of divine right action, the flow that we live in. Because Dr. Holmes teaches us that our life is the paradigm of perfect God, perfect human, and perfect being. And we at the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living are living that this year as 2020 Vision, one life in focus. One life in focus. So, next Sunday, we're going to have service, and we're also going, and Dave and Mandy will be with us. Mary Hares Franklin said, great backronym. Thank you, Mary. Next Sunday, we have Dave and Mandy singing, first Sunday of the month. And we will also have our general meeting in which we will do sign-in members and do a poll of the questions on our, I think there's only really one main question, which is the approval of our budget. The longer we stay virtual, the more balanced our budget is. And when I say balanced, we have a greater surplus the more that we stay. It's unfortunate that we're not being together, but of course, one of our great costs of our service is our Sunday band. Barbara says, we are all free and divine, and so it is. Thank you, Dove, for this wonderful message. You are welcome. And Richard Fox says, so true. You are welcome, too. So unfortunately, with us not being together and no band, we're missing out on the wonderful participation of Chris and David and Gary. But the flip side of that is we fortunately are saving that money. And so at this time, while lots and lots of people are out of work and have reduced income, we also have reduced income, but we also have reduced expenses. So we have a budget that is, and of course, Charles's work on our finances and our budget are the most astounding of any center I've ever been involved with. Some centers fight just to have a budget. We have an incredibly accurate budget thanks to Charles's brilliant financial work. So thank you again, Charles, for all that you do. And our budget committee, and we met, and we have a great budget that's been approved by our board. We are having a July board meeting today after service. So next week we will have our general meeting, and I will send out all that link information and everything as the week goes by. I'll also send out the links again for the member class for Me and White Supremacy, Lila Saad's book. Fantastic class. And I want to thank everybody who does contribute. You can give very easily through the Give Plus mobile app, which really makes it easy and helps us. Of course, you can go to our website and scroll down to, there's a giving spot there, and down at the bottom there's another orange heart right there, red heart right there, where you can click on and give. And then of course you can always drop off or mail a tithe to the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, 18575 Corwin Road, Apple Valley, California, 92307. And our web address is always all lowercase hi-desertcsl.org. And so let's do our giving affirmation together now. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And of course, you know that whenever I have any transaction at all, I always do my best to remember to say, I bless this gift in faith, knowing that it returns to me, excuse me, multiplied abundantly. Let me say that again without sneezing. I bless this gift in faith, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Our Zoom meeting after church, I sent out the link to everyone, but if you don't get those links, you can take a snapshot of this or write this down, 818-0082-9145. And our password for today is fellowship, all lowercase. Of course, you can also call in at 669-900-6833. And let's sing All Is Well and do our closing benediction together. Let me take the capo off of my guitar. Coming to the end of another service, I tell you, I just so appreciate the time that we spend together and all of us chatting together and feeling like we are in community together, which is what the truth of who we are and what we are. But I know sometimes we need some actual palpable experience of being in community together. So let's sing together. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. I know that the infinite indwelling Spirit blesses and protects us. I know that Spirit is kind and gracious through us. And I know that Spirit shines its light upon us and is our peace. And so it is. Amen. All is well, and I am grateful. all is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. Life is good, and so it is. One more time. Life is good, and so it is. One more time, our Zoom information. Our meeting ID is 818-0082. 9145, and our password is fellowship, or you can call in at 669-900-6893. And I'll see you there in a couple of minutes, right after God Makes Me Want to Sing. Peace and blessings, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I love you.
Can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. It makes me feel so good, I can do most anything. I am loving every living thing. I can see the face of God and paupers and kings. Whoa, oh, yeah. We're all precious, no one less or more. We've all got the same treasure in store. That's why I'm loving every living thing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Woo-hoo. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Makes me feel so good, I can do most anything, everything. I'm believing in my guidance.